Dramatic piano woman and performance artist Tori Amos has released her first ever compilation album, Tales of a Librarian. It's a CD-DVD that Tori Amos describes as a musical autobiography, which features 20 of her most popular songs from her decade-long career, plus some new material, among them Precious Things, Playboy Mummy, Spark, God, and Cornflake Girl.
It was a good solution, hanging with the raisin girls. She's gone to the other side, giving us a yo-yo. Things are getting kind of gross, and I go at sleepy time. This is not really, this is not really happening.
Amos went back to the studio and put a new spin on old tracks that were already familiar to her fans, including live recordings from the soundcheck of her North American tour.
Shots rang out, the police came, Mama laid me on the front lawn and prayed for Jaggie's strength.
The album also features some brand new recordings, Angels, and a personal favourite of Tori's, Snow Cherries from France.
They would call my bridesmaids, getting late, pray for Jaggie's strength. Make me laugh, say you know what you want. You said we were real fine, so I shall.
Amos said that Snow Cherries from France had taken her years to write. It was one of those songs. In fact, she'd been writing it for about 6 years. Tori Amos is not one to rest on her laurels and says she has already started work on her next album. For the new album, Tori's gathered books from all over the world and laid them out on the floor in her piano room in Cornwall. She says she loves this part of her work. It's like baking a cake as a kid. Shobana Jayasingh's work, Phantasmaton, has received rave reviews on its UK tour. The Indian-born choreographer bases her work on the Indian classical dance style of Bharata Natyam. Shobana Jayasingh's impassioned, stimulating and beautiful dances, together with her company's very highly polished production standards, have established her as a choreographer of unique power. Phantasmaton was inspired by the almost surreal way in which we continue to reinvent ourselves within the accelerating pace of our cities. The sharply defined, edgy quality of Jaya Singh's movement is contrasted with soaring live voices and digitally manipulated imagery which has been taken from Indian classical dance. Each of her dances takes place in a fluid and fascinating theatrical world where the difficulty, drive and excitement of urban life are broken into ever-shifting patterns. Her performances command a wide range of South Asian dance styles, and from this rich source of material, Jaya Singh has created a new and eloquent dance language. Jaya Singh has been amazing and intriguing audiences for more than a decade with the quality and power of her unique work.
Some girls only want one thing.
Eyes down. Look sad. Indian bride never smiles. You'll ruin the bloody video.
Jess Bamra.
Gurinder Chadha is the director, writer and producer of this British Asian film about the conflicts between traditional culture and contemporary society.
You must start behaving like a proper woman.
You're right! Yeah. Just one more day of freedom. I was married at your age. You don't even want to learn how to cook dal.
I'm joining a girls' team.
Newcomer Paraminda Nagra plays Jess, a teenage Indian girl who dreams of playing football like her hero, David Beckham. But with her traditional Asian upbringing, her family would rather see her in a bridal gown than in a kit and boots. Her mother even asks her who'd want a girl who plays football all day but can't make chapatis.
How do you know she's serious? I haven't got time to piss around, Jules.
She's got balls, Joe. At least watch her.
Where do you normally play?
In the park.
I mean, what position?
Oh, sorry. I usually play all over, but up front. On the right is best.
Keira Knightley plays Jules, Jess's best friend, who dreams of playing football in America for the WUSA. Though Jules's father is very supportive, her mother would prefer that Jules be more ladylike, or at least have a boyfriend.
Whoops.
Oh, will you both pack it in? Look at the state of my fuchsias. Alan, when are you going to realise you have a daughter with breasts, not a son?
Paula, please.
No boy's going to want to go out with a girl who's got bigger muscles than him.
Why don't you just leave her alone?
I'm not going to give it up.
I'm just saying.
Juliet Stevenson gives a hilarious performance as she reminds her daughter there is a reason Sporty Spice is the only one without a fellow.
Honey, all I'm saying is there is a reason why Sporty Spice is the only one of them without a fella.
Nah, my mum and dad have got a clue.
So you mean they've no idea you've been playing all this time?
Nope.
Where do they think you are?
At work, I think I've got a job at HMV.
Blimey, that's not on.
Indian girls aren't supposed to play football. That's a bit backward, isn't it? Yeah, but I hate to
With
see
Jules's
it.
encouragement, Jess joins the Hounslow Harriers women's team. However, knowing that her parents would not approve, Jess keeps it a secret from her family, including her newly engaged sister. She tells them she's working a summer job at a record store chain, instead attending practice and games throughout the season.
Probably.
Sorry, I don't know how you Indian girls put up with it.
It's just culture, that's all. Better than sleeping around with boys you're not going to end up marrying. What's the point in that?
That's the best bit.
Yeah, you should know.
Do you fancy me, Tony?
I like you, yeah.
Oh, good. Maybe we can go out then, yeah?
Jess, what's going on?
I just think I need an Indian boyfriend.
What is going on, Jess? You're acting all weird.
Sorry. You know my coach, yeah?
Yeah.
I nearly kissed him in Germany.
Wow! And that's why you need an Indian boyfriend?
With the help of their teammates and their coach, Joe, Jules and Jess are well on their way to achieving their goals.
I mean, look at Posh and Bex.
Oh, Beckham's the best.
Yeah, I really like Beckham too.
Well, of course you do. No one can cross a ball or bend it like Beckham.
Lads, check out the bats and the captain.
She's lucky she ain't knocked herself out running up and down the pitch with them.
You swap shirts at the end of matches.
Absolutely.
Oh!
Joe especially provides the most support until both girls fall for him and their friendship is truly tested.
Right, now watch and concentrate. The posh French mustard is the defender. The salt.
Sea salt.
The sea salt is the attacker. Offside, onside.
Bend It Like Beckham is a celebration on film which combines Asian culture and Britain's most beloved sport, football. The fashion world is opening up new possibilities for a new set of models. They're tall, bearded, and turbaned. A fashion show entitled Versa in India's northern Amritsar city saw many Sikh youngsters making a new fashion statement with their turbans. For some Sikh youths, modelling is a glamorous career option. They said the show gave them a launching pad for their careers. Sikh models have not been very popular so far, but one described this as a good start and hopes it will do well in the future. Whether they realise their dreams or not, this show helped the models to parade their potential. When sex is over, there's always shopping. Hundreds of women lined up outside a New York consignment shop, clamouring for cast-off clothes from the trend-setting TV show Sex in the City, which ended after a successful haute couture-drenched 6-season run. Well-heeled professionals and working girls skipped out of their jobs or tried to bribe their way to the front of the line for the last garments of the show's foursome, Carrie, Samantha, Charlotte and Miranda, whose romantic escapades made it seem sexy to be over 30 and single.
guy's a loser, I'll tell him to stop having his friends call me and we'll go for dinner. If not, who knows? His friend sounded cute on the phone.
How can you tell if someone's cute over the phone?
I can.
The man brought a living thing into my apartment. I don't do plants. I kill everything I bring in there.
You said yes to moving in. The guy moved in.
But he's taking over whole areas.
Many of the show's signature outfits from top designers few ordinary women could afford have already been claimed by cast members. Other chic pieces were auctioned online by cable network HBO for the actress's favourite charities. But that did not deter self-confessed addicts from pouring through racks and bins of leftovers, hoping the aura of sexual adventure and outlandish couture would rub off on them.
He is so cute.
A black sequined Chanel mini dress was the priciest item at $5,000, while a pair of red silk hot pants was billed at $70. Many items were purchased by the show's costumers, but never used. Ladies who could not fit into the size 2 worn by actress Sarah Jessica Parker, who played Carrie, said they would be happy with the memento.
Don't mind me, fellas. Just looking.
Or they might resell an item online at online auctioneer eBay. On Thanksgiving Day in 1976, rock group The Band took the stage for the last time. San Francisco's Winterland Theatre would host the event, and recording it all on film was a young Martin Scorsese. He edited the final performance and released it under the name The Last Waltz. Since then, the movie has become a classic among music lovers, and United Artists is re-releasing the movie, this time with a digitally remixed and remastered soundtrack. For the original cut, Scorsese worked with a 300-page shooting script and 7 cameramen. It turned out to be the first feature-length concert documentary, and the rest is history. Dr. John, a blues singer who performed with the band that night, said that this was a group that changed the way he looked at music.
I'm a hoochie coochie man.
I don't know if the years connect or it's
Robbie
coincidence or
Robertson
what
was
it
a
is, but
singer
it seems
guitarist
like
with the band.
that's it.
He's gone on to make his name with a solo career in music
16 years on
and has
the
now
road.
worked with
Start the numbers
Scorsese
start
to
to
recut
scare
the film.
I mean, I couldn't live with 20 years on the road. I don't think I could even discuss it.
25 years later, he's still infatuated with the magic of that night and thinks the years help him appreciate the event even more. Originally, the band set out to create a concert and a film that would mark not only the end of their run together, but would come to signify the end of an era, as their blend of roots-inspired rock gave way to the emergence of punk.
To eat at the dining room table like a normal family.
Happy, Dad?
Yes.
Good. Commence shoveling.
No. We're going to say grace first.
Okay. Rub-a-dub-dub. Thanks for the grub.
No!
It was supposed to be a wonderful vacation that didn't go too well. The Simpsons, the dysfunctional American family portrayed in a famous TV series, packed their suitcases in Springfield and flew to Rio de Janeiro, dreaming of sun, beautiful beaches, and plain fun. But as soon as Bart, Dad Homer, and Mum Lisa landed in that boisterous city, everything went wrong. Bart was swallowed by a boa constrictor. His dad ended up kidnapped by a taxi driver. And somehow he and Homer managed to get mugged by children on the street. At least that's the way it's portrayed in an episode of the US TV series that got the mayor of Rio de Janeiro and the city's tourism board so upset that they were actively considering filing a lawsuit against Fox TV, the owner of The Simpsons. The image of Rio projected in that episode ran opposite to a $15 million effort by tourist authorities to promote Rio as a tourist destination. The president of Brazil, Fernando Henrique Cardoso, complained that the program brought a distorted vision of Brazilian reality. The Fox network did not comment on the threat of legal action, but the network issued a written statement saying, "We apologize to the lovely city and people of Rio de Janeiro, and if that doesn't settle the issue, Homer Simpson offers to take on the president of Brazil on Fox Celebrity Boxing." The now famous episode was based on the 1984 movie Blame It on Rio, in which Michael Caine suffers a midlife crisis and runs into all sorts of trouble in the Brazilian resort. Britney Spears set the world abuzz with her quickie Las Vegas wedding to a childhood friend on a weekend, but by Monday morning, the honeymoon was over. Spears filed papers to annul the union just 12 minutes after Clark County District Court opened for business on the Monday. The petition, filed under the name Britney Jean Spears, asserted that the singer is not currently pregnant and asked that neither she or Jason Allen Alexander, who are both 22, receive spousal support. Representatives for Spears said in a statement that the nuptials were a joke gone too far. Michael Sommermeyer, a court information officer, said that obtaining an annulment in Las Vegas can be more costly than getting married. Spears asked in the petition that both she and Alexander be restored to the status of single, unmarried person. A friend said Spears was having a good time in Las Vegas, but was not inebriated when she got married at the Little White Wedding Chapel, wearing a baseball cap, t-shirt and jeans, and escorted by a Palms Casino Hotel bellman. Spears shot to superstardom as a teenager with her debut album Baby One More Time. Her latest single is In the Zone. In Japanese Story, Oscar-nominated actress Toni Collette plays Sandy Edwards, an ambitious Australian geologist who meets Japanese businessman Hiromitsu, played by Japanese actor Gotaro Tsunashima. Hoping to land a lucrative business deal, Sandy agrees to take Hiromitsu on a field trip around Western Australia's desolate Pilbara Desert. As they set off on their journey, Sandy and Hiromitsu are quickly reminded that they hail from widely different cultures and seem to have little in common. But their relationship evolves, especially as the two confront a potentially life or death situation in the remote desert.
Is this your luggage?
Oh, hi.
It's okay, we just put it in the back. I'm not going very far.
are you?
Really strong. You never been so strong.
When asked about the film's clash of cultures component, Colette said it was an intriguing part of the movie's storyline.
You want to speak to me?
Oh, no, I want to kill you.
But without me, you are alone. And then you die.
Oh, maybe.
Yes, you die. In the desert.
Colette said she really loved the script and really wanted to tell this story. Rolling Stone lead singer Mick Jagger has finally got some satisfaction after receiving a knighthood in the Queen's birthday honours list. The 58-year-old naughty boy of rock and roll, whose extramarital wanderings hardly fit him out as a family role model, was clearly delighted to receive his unexpected knighthood in Queen Elizabeth's birthday honours lists. Jagger's good looks, wrapped around those exuberant lips, and the Stones' image as rock's satanic majesties, shocked British parents and delighted their children in the 1960s. He complained that the group was persecuted and abused for years. The news of the knighthood for a man briefly jailed in 1967 for drug possession has provoked some harsh criticism. But Jagger, who dabbled in magic, bisexuality and androgyny, and is now one of Britain's richest men with houses in Manhattan, Mystique, London and France, shrugged it all off. The weathered and stick-thin workaholic frontman for the group that has been described as the greatest rock and roll band in the world is as famous for his offstage female relationships as for his energetic on-stage antics. He has a string of ex-wives and girlfriends to his name. Having fathered 7 children by 4 women, Jagger said he had been mercilessly teased by friends, family and colleagues since news of this knighthood leaked out. In spite of the weather, the cast of director John Woo's film Windtalkers walked the red carpet in New York City for the film's premiere. Nicolas Cage plays John Enders, a World War II Marine assigned to protect a Navajo code talker during the US campaign against Japan in the Pacific. His mission is to protect his code talker, but if he should fall into enemy hands, his duty is to protect the code at all costs. One of the film's outstanding features is the realistic battle scenes. Windtalkers brings to the screen the horrors of war with tremendous realism. Director John Woo assembled an exceptional team behind the cameras to bring the story to the big screen. He had the real code talkers as advisors and a military advisor to help make sure the story was right.
The new code based on the Navajo language. You're to pair with the code.
For the cast, preparing for the film was a sometimes scary experience. The underlying theme of the movie is the bond that develops between 2 men from 2 different worlds on a difficult mission.
Seen any combat, Yazzie?
Looking forward to getting into some.
Are you now?
Relay the coordinates! Joe Cage, go!
You done good today, Bam.
But most importantly, the movie portrays the heroism of Native Americans in World War II.
At all costs. You understand me?
Yes, sir. I do.
Entre los árboles del espeso monte. La noche significa para...
Wealthy aficionados and retailers descended on the mecca of cigar lovers for 5 days of smoke-filled parties and tours of tobacco plantations and factories that roll the world's most famous cigars. The annual Habanos Festival includes the most lavish banquet laid on each year by the communist-run country of Cuba, where humidors signed by President Fidel Castro are auctioned off for tens of thousands of dollars. For the connoisseur, the festival offers a first-hand view of cigar production and how the tobacco harvest is doing. For many aficionados, the festival is a chance to go on a spending spree and stock up with their favorite smokes. Visitors toured factories where smiling Cubans rolled famed Cohiba and Montecristo cigars under posters of Che Guevara, Camilo Cienfuegos, and other revolutionary heroes. A warehouse for aging tobacco in Havana won praise from experts as a major development for Cuba's $250 million a year cigar industry. It allows the aging of filler and binder, not just the wrapper leaf. To mark the 160th anniversary of the founding in Havana of a legendary brand by two German bankers, the Upmann brothers, a special humidor of 100 cigars was on sale for $1,600 or £850. It was also an opportunity to indulge in the pleasures of cigar smoking and Havana nightlife. There is no tobacco in the world that has the flavor and aroma of Cuban tobacco. It's something that's very special. Peter Gabriel was one of the founding members of the band Genesis in the early 1970s. He left the band in 1975 and since then has been producing his own brand of music for a loyal group of fans who have followed him since his first solo hit, Salisbury Hill, in 1976. Gabriel has released 10 solo albums, and in 1986 he won his first Grammy with his 7th album, So. The videos from this project established him as a leader in video production and included the song Sledgehammer, which has won the most music video awards ever, including a #1 position in Rolling Stone's top 100 videos of all time. Ever able to reinvent himself and his music, Gabriel has released a DVD, Growing Up Live, a multimedia presentation of some of his best-known hits through the years, such as Mercy Street, Sledgehammer, and Red Rain.
Did you catch those child molesters? No one else goes there. What a show.
Even after more than 30 years of making music, Gabriel still seems to be going strong. Though Genesis made him famous, Gabriel said he would not consider returning to the band he founded while still in school. Gabriel is optimistic for the future, and though now in his mid to late 50s, he said he hopes to be able to keep a bit of childlike, fresh perspective on his life. With a standing ovation, guests mourned the end of an era summed up by American designer Tom Ford's glitzy designs for Italian leather house Gucci and his sensual reworking of the Saint Laurent myth. Models paraded in jewel-coloured peplum jackets with peaked shoulders, paired with figure-hugging pencil skirts with curled lace motifs that were vintage Tom Ford. The Texan rose through the fashion ranks swiftly and anonymously before exploding into the public consciousness in 1995 with a retro-style Gucci collection that caught the eye of Madonna and Gwyneth Paltrow. In less than a year, the label zoomed from has-been to must-have, with the notoriously perfectionist Ford controlling everything from packaging to advertising campaigns. Magazines have been filled with nostalgic tributes to the man who used sex to sell everything from handbags to yoga mats. As famous as the Hollywood stars he dressed for the red carpet, Tom Ford seemed to embody the sulphurous lifestyle he peddled with his dark good looks, 5 o'clock shadow, and permanently unbuttoned white shirt. He broke taboos with porno-chic advertising images that included a model with her pubic hair shaved in the shape of a Gucci logo. Industry watchers said the end of his reign marked the death of the superstar designer. Confident to the end, Tom Ford took his bow wearing a velvet jacket in bright red. Supermodel Linda Evangelista made a rare catwalk appearance, sizzling in a Jean-Paul Gaultier taffeta trench coat and top hat, brandishing a riding crop with haughty disdain. Models with swinging horsehair ponytails paraded in Jean-Paul Gaultier's trademark corsets including one made of stiff saddle leather with a padlock dangling in front. Gaultier's ready-to-wear collection took Hermes back to its roots as a saddle maker, but treated them with just enough irreverence to give the label a welcome facelift. A halter-neck dress was made from raw crocodile skins, their tails dissolving in a cloud of black chiffon. Gaultier said he wanted to give Hermes a more feminine spin than his predecessor, edgy Belgian designer Martin Margiela, and he pulled out all the stops. But there was also plenty for the mature customer, from masculine flannel trousers to maxi cardigans in luxurious cashmere ply. An elderly model strode in a large camel cashmere coat, and a Hermes orange jacket with brown fur collar was matched with tobacco riding pants and a red blouse. Judging from the roar of applause that greeted Jean-Paul Gaultier as he took his bow, Chairman Jean-Louis Dumas could be forgiven for feeling a little smug. Legendary Indian freedom fighter Bhargat Singh is causing a stir over 70 years after his execution, with the release of 2 films that chronicle his life, The Legend of Bhargat Singh and Shaheed. They are going head-to-head in a bid to win over the audiences. The seriousness of the subject matter does not prevent either film from turning on the full Bollywood charm. In 1931, aged just 23, Bhargat Singh became a legend when he was hanged by the British rulers in India for setting off a bomb in Parliament. At one stage, the Punjabi folk hero rivaled Gandhi in popularity, and now 2 of India's most popular actors have had their chance at immortalising Bhargat Singh on film.
He's a dangerous man. Arrest him immediately.
Starring in The Legend of Bhargat Singh is Ajay Devgan. The version of the story he stars in has top Bollywood credentials, directed by Raj Kumar Santoshi, with a score by music man of the moment, A.R. Rahman, the man responsible for the music of Andrew Lloyd Webber's project, Bombay Dreams. Despite the fact that this film had been 4 years in the making, the premiere was held on the same night as that for Shaheed, which took only 4 months to make from start to finish.
My word. How can a man not eat for 55 days?
He has not, madam. Even my family members are fasting for him for the past few days.
Bobby Deol takes lead honours in this version, which boasts the bigger budget. This version claims to be the more prestigious of the 2, although Bobby's brother Sonny, who also acts in the film, wanted to play the main role until he got too old. The original idea was that the 2 different teams worked together to make a definitive Bhargat Singh movie, but this didn't happen.
वतन के नाम पे वतन के नाम पे हम सर कटाने से नहीं डरते मिटाने से नहीं मिटते.
Although the subject matter may be more serious than is usual for Bollywood films, both films are stunningly visual and feature a strong emphasis on music. And of course, both sets of filmmakers are hoping the films will not only win even more followers for the ever-strengthening Bollywood scene, but also provide an insight into an important historical figure.
रंग दे बसंती चोला मेरा रंग दे बसंती चोला मेरा रंग दे बसंती चोला मेरा रंग दे बसंती चोला हो आज रंग दे हो मारे रंग दे मेरा रंग दे बसंती चोला मेरा रंग दे बसंती चोला मेरा रंग दे बसंती चोला मेरा रंग दे बसंती चोला
Okay, man, where are we going next? Let's start at the beginning.
Shake, shake, shake. Say what you got. Say what God gave you, baby, until the break of dawn.
Good old rock and roll with a little Latin soul describes the sound of Cuban-American singer Frankie Perez. With his debut album Poor Man's Son, Frankie Perez, the son of Cuban immigrants, has finally arrived. After years of playing in bands and small clubs in Las Vegas, Perez put together the album with songs written during his road trips, songs that would eventually become the backbone of his debut record. The album has a mix of everything, blue-collar rockers like Cecilia and Class Act that pulse with tragic working girls and love-struck guys from the wrong side of town. Snapshots of Little Havana that drip with the beats of Cuba, and tracks that hum like tires on a highway. And threading them all together is Perez's heartfelt storytelling and classic style, born out of his father's record collection. With his dark Latino good looks and soulful sound, Perez is every inch a Cuban American, and proud of it. The politicians, generals and businessmen in the office of Peru's former spy chief hardly suspected that one day they would be viewed by millions on secretly taped videos, taking bribes and making dirty deals. Even less did they imagine that they would become bad guys on the big screen in a new movie based on the explosive corruption scandal that toppled ex-president Alberto Fujimori. The film Eyes That Don't See takes its cue from the scandal that ultimately forced the authoritarian ruler to flee to his parents' homeland Japan in the year 2000, when clandestine video taped by intelligence advisor Vladimiro Montesinos was made public by Fujimori's opponents. Eyes That Don't See focuses on how 6 fictitious characters, including a corrupt lawyer, a retired army colonel tied to organized crime, and 2 adrift intelligence officers were affected by the release of the Montesinos videos. According to internationally renowned director Francisco Lombardi, the movie is an attempt to open people's eyes to truths that many Peruvians have ignored. According to Montesinos' accusers, acting on his orders, the Peruvian intelligence service hounded and spied on political opponents of Fujimori throughout most of the 1990s. The latest album from Sean P. Diddy Combs is We Invented the Remix. In 1991, in his days as an executive at Uptown Records, Sean Puffy Combs, the flamboyant hip-hop impresario, convinced himself that he erected an idea that has revolutionized the industry: the remix.
It's that bounce right here. Time to move on. Time to be strong. Don't stop now, straight to the top now. That's what I need.
When his first experiment, a remix of Jodeci's Come and Talk to Me, sold 2.5 million records, Puffy knew he was onto something. His latest features sharp collaborations from P. Diddy himself, along with fellow artists and friends, the late Notorious B.I.G., Carl Thomas, Faith Evans and Loon amongst them.
And how I had a trifling mental, so ride with me, G4 fly with me, times get hard, cry with me, die with me, White Beach Saints lie with me, my advice is forget the
P. Diddy, who has had plenty of experience remixing records for a host of artists, including Janet Jackson, Mariah Carey and Mary Jo Blige, says his fans are going to be surprised. Aside from his latest album, Combs is busy with his clothing line, Sean John. And what about rumours that P. Diddy's life is soon going to be caught on tape, replacing MTV's wildly popular show The Osbournes? Well, he'd rather not comment. With a hot new album, hip clothing line and a possible TV show deal in the works, P. Diddy continues to rock the hip-hop world.